Administration officials have said that it was the gruesome images of the chemical weapons attack that changed Trump's mind, which on one level is absolutely understandable. The images were truly horrifying, just as, again, they were 4 years ago. But while it is natural to want to take some kind of action in response, it has to come in the context of a larger strategy, or it's close to worthless. Because though the strikes seem to have made certain people feel better, what did they actually achieve?
Does this change the facts on the ground at all, Martha?
I don't think it really does. I mean, this wasn't a strategic strike and hurting Assad going forward. It's this one airfield. It is a punishing airstrike. They took out aircraft. They took out fuel supplies. They took out some of the surrounding infrastructure. But he has many other airfields.
It's true. In fact, he apparently still has the one we bombed, because Syrian warplanes were carrying out attacks from it just hours after our missile strike. And that is hardly a crippling blow. Delta passengers experience longer flight delays on a daily basis. Look, maybe a symbolic airstrike was strategically the best move for Trump, but I don't think he's thinking strategically, because there is no indication that he's taken the time to answer some fairly basic questions like, if this was a warning shot, what are we warning against? Do we only want to stop Assad using chemical weapons, or are we going to push for regime change? If he does it again, are we prepared to go to war to stop him? If so, are we prepared for how significantly this may deteriorate our relationship with Russia, and how will that affect our fight against ISIS? This is complicated, and I am not saying there are right answers here. I'm saying there needs to be a tangible strategy acknowledging how difficult taking on Assad actually is, because right now we have a president who feeds off praise, and he just got a lot of it for bombing someone. And that should make everyone very, very worried. Or, to put this in terms that Brian Williams can understand, there is a scene in the movie American Pie where the character Jim, played by Jason Biggs, has sex with a pie because he wants to feel like a big, strong, grown-up man. Well, the concern is that if we blindly let him continue down this path, Donald Trump could become that horny teenager, and the whole world could become that pie. So, for now, let's move on. Let's move on to Fox News. A series of Cialis and catheter commercials, occasionally interrupted by an episode of The Five. Fox News has been rocked by sexual harassment scandals recently, and this week brought one of the most damaging yet.
This morning, new revelations about sexual harassment claims at Fox News aimed at the network's biggest star. The New York Times finding Fox News and Bill O'Reilly paid 5 women a total of almost $13 million in settlements, going back 15 years.
Yes, Bill O'Reilly, who scientists hypothesize is kind of a dense nebula of boner and racism, has been paying out settlements for alleged harassment for years, and the details are pretty disturbing here, with the victims claiming things like verbal abuse, lewd comments, unwanted advances, and phone calls in which it sounded as if Mr. O'Reilly was masturbating. And I hate to ask this, but what does that sound like? Does it sound like a dog's jowls flapping when it sticks its head out of the window of a moving car? Or someone frantically stirring a bowl of cake batter? Or was it a more subtle tap, 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 like a mouse giving a round of applause? I mean, either way, it is horrible. And look, it's not just those 5 women. Dr. Wendy Walsh, an occasional guest on O'Reilly's show, came forward this week claiming that he took her to dinner, ostensibly to offer her career advice, but when she declined to come back to his room, his tone noticeably changed.
He told me, he complained about I ordered a soda water, and he complained about the cost of the soda water and said, I wonder what they're charging for a cup of water here. He told me my bag was ugly. He goes, that's the ugliest bag I've ever seen.
Okay. Hold on. She is saying when he got rejected, he started negging her by complaining about the price of seltzer and then criticising her fashion choices. Apparently, in Bill O'Reilly's mind, every woman wants to fuck her own mother. Now, it is hard for us, any of us, to imagine what it must be like to be on the receiving end of dirty talk from Bill O'Reilly. But it's not, as it turns out, impossible. Because in 1998, he wrote a book called Those Who Trespass, featuring numerous sex scenes, and he narrated his own audiobook. And yes, we're doing this. Here is a sample.